Something smells on this episode of Mythbusters Junior.
It's so gross in there, though.
As the team road tests the myth that a car full of air freshener...
Oh my God! Jesus!
could cause a potentially fatal explosion.
Flip the switch.
You all right?
You're getting a very, very regular Mythbusters kind of day.
Whoa! Oh my God!
Then the unmistakable smell of wet dog fills the air.
Riley does not look great when shaking.
The myth is that any dog can shake off 70% of their water weight in a single shake session.
And the Mythbusters challenge is not to drown in the process.
Awesome.
Yes, I'm back. With a brand new team of the best builders, the brightest minds, and the boldest busters I could find. Yes, they're a bunch of kids, but the myths, they are as full-size and as explosive as ever. This is Mythbusters Junior. This myth promises to deliver 2 bangs for the buck and comes courtesy of the interwebs. That's 2 explosive urban legends featuring the same product, and that is spray air freshener. Now, in the first, an odoriferous car sprayed full of air freshener by an overeager teen supposedly explodes when the car's interior light comes on. In the second, a slow-leaking can causes a bit of a blow-up when the owner tries to light a cigarette. So that is the myth. Can air freshener cause a car to explode?
Which begs the question, just how flammable are spray can air fresheners? And do they contain one of Adam's least favorite things?
Flammable gases are without a doubt the scariest thing that we dealt with over all the years of Mythbusters. Oh! We've lit cars on fire that got out of control.
3, 2, 1.
Oh man!
Stuff's still dropping. I think this is freaking confirmed.
Right, and I seem to remember losing an eyebrow at one point.
Am I missing an eyebrow?
Okay, that was probably one of the stupidest things I've ever done.
The thing about flammable gases is they're invisible, so when they're in a space, you don't know. And in replicating the stories about them, you often have to get this perfect storm mix of gas to oxygen to ignition, which means they're both dangerous and tricky to replicate. I dread flammable gases.
So before anyone sets fire to anything, a quick safety drill.
Setting fires is pretty much the best part of being a Mythbuster. Second best part is putting them out. That's what this exercise is all about, getting the Mythbusters comfortable with controlling and putting out a fire in the shop. Today's fire is brought to you by a stack of wood I screwed together, covered with contact cement. It provides a nice controllable burn, and it's how we burn stuff in the movies. All right, Jesse. All right, Valerie.
Okay.
Here you go.
It's not a difficult procedure to master, but it's best to know one end of an extinguisher from another before there's an emergency.
Oh, the satisfaction.
3, 2, 1.
And once Allie's had a blast,
Did a thing, yay!
they're good to go on with the myth. The first job for Allie, Jesse, and Valerie is to test which one of these 5 off-the-shelf air fresheners may contain, you guessed it, flammable gas. And to make sure they don't singe any eyebrows, Mythbusters expert fabricator John Marcoux has put together a test rig that's simple and safe.
Stick 1 over here, you push it down, just like the sticker says, that lights your torch. Push down number 2, that sends your aerosol, and flames firing up all the way into the ceiling.
That sounds awesome.
All aerosol cans use some kind of compressed gas, like propane or isobutane as propellants. The team hopes to ID the most flammable spray for this myth by measuring the height of the flames against a scale marked in 2-inch increments.
You guys ready?
Yes.
Okay, torch in 3, 2, 1. Aerosol in 3, 2, 1.
Wow.
Already the sweet smell of success.
Air freshener number 1 was 6 pink lines up. So that's where I'm gonna put our mark. Right there. That's 1 down and 4 more to go.
All right, this is aerosol number 2 in 3, 2, 1.
Oh, that was pretty good.
And what's good in real life always looks better on high speed.
Okay, so I looked on the high speed for number 2, and it was 4 pink lines down. Pretty impressive. It's a big difference from number 1.
In fact, the same amount of spray produced twice the flame. At this rate, their next attempt could burn the roof off.
Air freshener number 3 in 3, 2, 1.
It's like not even going. You can see the tiniest bit of orange, but it did basically nothing.
So this is a bust.
Yeah, basically.
Guess that one's not flammable.
That's because some common aerosol propellants simply aren't combustible. So, on to can number 4.
It's not doing anything either.
It's not doing anything?
No, look. Yeah, see?
Oh,
And how about can number 5?
this one's just pretty disappointing as well.
Yep. Number 3, 4, and 5 are definitely a bust, but number 2 definitely went the highest out of all of them.
Number 2 it is.
Number 2.
They've got what they wanted, a butane-based air freshener with the potential to blow up a car.
And it's on fire.
Nope,
Don't worry.
But while they prepare to wreak havoc in the workshop, it's time to plunge into myth number 2.
This next myth comes courtesy of man's best friend, or should I say, human's best friend, everyone's favorite four-legged companion, dogs. It is said that a wet dog can shake out 70% of the water in its fur in its first shake. 70%. It is an astounding number. The question is it an accurate one?
Well, it sounds really impressive, but is it true?
There's only one way to find out.
Right, and we're bringing in an expert that Cannon knows. His name is?
Klaus.
Klaus. Bring in Klaus.
It's time for the other Mythbusters to meet one member of Cannon's extended family.
What kind of dog is he?
He's a rescue dog, so we're not quite sure.
Well, you guys have your test platform here named Klaus. You have the myth. It's time for you guys to go gather some wet dog data.
Okay.
Have fun.
Klaus is the latest in a long line of Mythbusters canine collaborators.
Can you guess what my role is today?
Perhaps the best loved of all was Morgan, who we met when Adam and Jamie set out to beat the bloodhound.
Smell.
Eat him.
Adam did his darndest to avoid being tracked. He tried zigzagging and doubling back.
So good boys.
Changing his getaway clothes. That old classic, running through water.
It took you less time than the first 2 tests.
You're just a stinky guy, what can I say?
Even dousing himself with strong-smelling cologne and coffee, all to absolutely no avail.
You found me.
Back at the shop, it's almost bath time.
So we have a plan. We have the pool, we have the scale, and we have our little Klaus. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna weigh him normally, then we're gonna give him a bath.
Getting his dry weight of 19.4 pounds is the easy part. Now it's time to get wet.
Oh, no, 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 not too high, not too high.
Okay.
Just right on him. Right there.
With 8 dogs at home, Rachel's got bath time down pat.
I have 8 dogs. Yes, 8 dogs. And also 16 cats, but that's for another myth.
Elijah, not so much.
Yeah, I have no dogs. I'm a cat person. Well, I like cats. I'm not a furry.
Every fiber of this furry frame wants to shimmy from nose to tail.
The hardest part was not getting the dogs to shake, because that's all they want to do is shake.
Elijah grabs a reading of 20.4 pounds. not a second too soon.
That was all up in my face.
Then it's back on the scale for those vital post-shake particulars.
20.1 pounds.
Yay! Good boy, Klaus.
0.3 of a pound doesn't sound like much, but math genius and college sophomore Cannon soon confirms that the myth is off to a promising start.
The results are that Klaus lost about 60% of his water weight in one shake cycle.
It's not 70%, but it's still very impressive.
Impressive enough for Elijah to propose his pet theory of comparative species shaking.
We're gonna test to see if humans can shake water out of their hair just like dogs can shake water out of their fur.
No prizes for guessing which human. Just like Klaus, Elijah first gets weighed dry, then it's dunk time.
In 3, 2, 1, go. Down. Thank you. Oh, that was fun. Go.
Oh.
Elijah's now weighed with his mane wringing wet. And then...
Oh, my... Oh. Elijah. Elijah.
So let's get the data on dude versus dog.
I gained 0.7 pounds after my hair was soaked, and I lost 0.2 pounds when I shook out my hair.
Okay. Math man, what is that in percentage?
That is 28.5% of the water lost.
Not too shabby. Still no match for Klaus. But to give this myth a fair shake, they'll need a much bigger sample size. Exploring the myth of a random spark or a cigarette triggering an explosion in a car full of air freshener, the Mythbusters and John set up for small-scale testing. They're working on the premise that a full can was expended in the car. And as the blast box they're building is 13% of the volume of a standard sedan, they'll need to determine 13% of a spray can's volume.
For this next test, we need to figure out how long it takes to empty this can of air freshener. And I think it would be more productive if we emptied it out someplace that needs a little bit of help. This is the bathroom that all the shop guys use. Pretty self-explanatory.
By timing it out, Allie can figure the appropriate dose for the small scale in minutes and seconds.
Okay, we are at 4 minutes now. I have the feeling I'm gonna be here for a while.
The toilet test can eventually taps out at about 14 minutes. Now, Allie can crunch the numbers.
So if we take 13% of 14 minutes, then we get 1 minute and 47 seconds of spray time that we should spray the spray can in our small scale test.
Their first test mimics the first myth scenario, that a car oversprayed with air freshener could explode with a random spark. Here, that spark is supplied by a neon transformer via the fingertips of Jesse's Magic Merlin.
Good luck, little dude.
All that remains is to fit a lid onto their boombox.
Now, this paper tape might look a little weak, but we're actually building the box with some weak points on purpose. There's gonna be so much expanding gas in there, we run the risk of breaking the sides. But if we put in some weak points in our joints, we'll just get panel separation instead of full destruction.
Allie unloads the requisite 1 minute and 47 seconds worth of air freshener.
There we go.
And they're good to go.
Okay. Going hot!
Overspray air freshener in 3, 2, 1.
That was pretty cool. Oh no.
That was crazy.
Jesse's wizard went up in smoke.
What happened to our wizard?
He's gone.
Aw. Oh man, that is a weird looking wizard.
It may be small scale, but this is a big result.
What do you guys think? It's looking great for the myth so far.
I mean, if this represented a full can of air freshener in a real car, then that car is going to blow up.
But this myth has a second scenario, where robotics expert Valerie can finally work alongside a kindred Mythbusters spirit. Buster.
Let's just assume that Buster puts the air freshener in the backseat of the car, and then something goes on top of it, and it starts leaking, right?
and then Buster lights up. But could a lighter or the cigarette itself set off the air freshener? To test that, inventor Ellie has teamed up with John to design a remote control lighter.
Our little rig here is a servo that pushes down on this lighter and gets us a nice open flame.
This is gross. I'm doing it for science.
And that's the ideal moment for a brief Mythbusters public service announcement.
Remember, kids, smoking killed the dinosaurs. Don't let it happen to you.
Those with a very long memory might recall this is not Buster's first cigarette.
I think we should call him Buster.
Buster's Series 1 debut was the exploding toilet myth, where Jamie and Adam tried to find out if a lit cigarette dropped in a toilet full of bug spray would explode.
Go. Nothing.
It didn't until they replaced the bug spray with gunpowder.
Go.
The result was 2 busted cans.
Yeah, I've had days just like this too.
Over the years, he's been dropped,
Poor guy.
spun,
How you feeling, buddy?
smashed, shot, flung, and pulverized. To further the cause of human knowledge.
That is a headache.
Nice work, Buster. Nice work.
As Buster resumes his bad habit, Allie lets loose with the scent, which she's rigged up to auto spray.
Okay, spray is in.
All right. Lighter's in place.
Okay, this is leaky can with your average lighter in 3, 2, 1.
It's a healthy flame, but no instant combustion.
Nothing?
Nope.
Just smells bad.
Yeah.
To make Buster smoke, Valerie works a small pump that draws air through the back of his head. Half a minute in, and it's looking like Buster's got smoker's cough.
And the cigarette.
He spit it out. Even Buster doesn't like cigarettes.
Even Buster doesn't like smoking.
But this test is still live, with a volatile mix of oxygen, fuel, and an ignition source.
It was pretty nerve-wracking. We were behind blast panels, we had our helmets on, we had eye protection, you know, we were not kidding around with this thing.
To bust or confirm the myth that a dog can shed 70% of its water weight in just one shake,
That was all up in my face.
the Mythbusters know they'll need more than one test pooch. So, they've sent out a canine casting call.
Come here, Tiffy. Come on. Oh, Tiffy.
Now I want a dog.
Senior design consultant Tamara is on hand to advise and assist. A Mythbusters veteran, search finalist, and elite all-round engineer and maker, she's been instrumental in choosing today's test dogs.
We have a sampling of small, medium, and large dogs looking at both long hair and short hair breeds so that we can look at all the variables and try to get to our 70% weight loss with Shake.
You ready?
As before, they begin with a dry weigh-in, which is as good a time as any to meet our 6 distinctive volunteers. There's Riley, Tippy, Dazzle, Coda Bear, Danny, and Willie.
We had planned to do the test out here in the parking lot, and the wind is so diabolical, it was not allowing us to get reasonable measurements from our very sensitive dog scale. So we have moved everything indoors.
Here's Tippy. Tippy, hello. How are you today?
The first pup to hit the H2O is Tippy, a small dog with short hair. It doesn't take long to get her thoroughly soaked.
Incoming, Tippy.
And upcoming critical moment, getting her wet weight before she shakes.
15.2.
Oh, and there goes the shake.
So it's off to a high speed that's just as impressive as any explosion, and far more fetching. Tippy's shake starts at the head and works down to the tip of her tail. The opposing but complementary gyrations are so brilliantly efficient that they're being studied in the hope of designing better washers and dryers.
After Tippy shook, she weighed 14.8 pounds. Okay.
That's almost half a pound gone in one shake.
Here is Dazzle.
Hello, Dazzle. How are you today? Hi. You're gonna get a bath.
So let's see if Dazzle can do even better.
You're so skinny.
She's more petite than her FB BFF, enjoys long walks with multiple pit stops, and likes to wear her hair long.
9.6. Yeah, 9.6.
9.6.
They've got her wet weight, but there's not a whole lot of shaking going on.
Hopefully shake in 3, 2, 1.
Come on, Dazzle, shake.
Come on, shake.
Shake.
Shake, Dazzle.
There it is.
8.5.
That's better. Both of these small dogs have actually surpassed the mythical 70% shake-off. Dazzle with 73.3% and Tippy with 83.5%. But how will the bigger dogs fare? All they know for certain is that getting those plus-size pets wet will be no walk in the park.
Tamara's more wet than the dog.
Testing the myth that a car full of air freshener could be combustible, Allie, Jesse, and Valerie got a big small-scale result, using a spark for ignition.
That was pretty cool.
Now they've moved on to the second scenario, a slowly leaking can with a lit cigarette.
Even Buster doesn't like cigarettes.
They've been watching and waiting for almost 2 minutes, and that's long enough.
That didn't work at all.
But we do know our air freshener is flammable.
The ratio of air to fuel is crucial for combustion. Working on the premise that they didn't leak enough air freshener, this time they start the spray a full minute before ignition.
Lighting in 3, 2, 1.
The lighter is working, but so far, no boom.
Well, maybe it's too wet in there. Maybe it's trying to come on, but since it's so wet, then it's not able to.
I think we should keep trying, and every 5 seconds, try it again, just to see if it'll dry up and explode.
It's a good idea.
Sounds good.
By letting the spray disperse and settle, they're hoping to dial in the perfect explosive ratio of fuel to air. And just a few clicks later.
Oh my goodness!
He's up! Oh, that was out of nowhere!
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Oh, I felt it.
Oh! That was so awesome!
I was literally just about to say, it's not working.
It's a safe bet that's exactly what Valerie was thinking too.
Boom, the top flies off, and Valerie's like, oh my god, my heart! Yeah, I think it scared her.
You would stare at it for like 10 seconds, and you look away, and at that exact moment, it would explode. Moral of the story, don't ever turn your back on science, especially when it's an explosion.
Oh, that's so pretty!
Oh
Look at the lid.
Oh my god, and right at that moment was when my heart dropped. Yeah, right there was when I had a heart attack.
As both the spark and the cigarette scenarios worked, it's agreed they can now regard this as one simple myth. Aerosol spray plus generic ignition equals one almighty bang.
Oh my god! Oh my goodness!
But going full scale might not prove quite so simple.
One thing we have to remember is that our box isn't a car. A car has steel and has a lot more volume than our acrylic box does. So what we have to do is go to the bomb range.
Oh! I'm sorry, Buster.
Fill up our car.
To de-ass the area and get back to base.
And hopefully we'll get a boom out of it.
Pint-sized Dazzle and Tippy have already done their bit to see if a soggy dog can shed 70% of its water weight with one good shake. Now, they're bringing in the big guns.
Here's Danny.
At 102 pounds, short-haired Danny is considerably heavier than some of the younger Mythbusters, and Tamara. So this time, it's a real team effort.
Good girl.
Oh yeah, Project Danny coming in.
Like the others, she's weighed pre
104.1.
and post-shake.
The neat thing about the high-speed shots is that you can see that even though the dogs' heads are only really tilting from, say, a 1 to an 11 on a clock, their skin is going full 3 to 9 o'clock. So you're getting this awesome spiral of water every time they're shaking.
Watching the dogs on high speed when they shook, the main thing that surprised me was how much saliva they got out when they shook. It was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen.
Our next hairy heavyweight is Wet Willie.
102.5.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, 102.5, right?
Okay.
102.5, okay.
And then duck for cover.
Awesome.
Both Adam and Cannon take one for the team.
I was glad I had the swimming trunks on because that helped as far as not getting my actual wardrobe wet.
Danny's percentage of water weight lost is just 42, and Willie's is even less. Both well short of the earlier results and the mythical 70%.
Watching a dog shake in high speed is incredible. I mean, I don't even think humans can do that.
But there might be a way to find out. The boys trim the yarn, which the girls sew into bathing caps to make puppy wigs.
Puppy wigs. I know what you're thinking. What does that mean? Where does the yarn come from? Are we taking puppies and piling them on our heads? I promise, I asked some of those questions. It turns out that if you love your pet enough, you can harvest their fur and have it spun into yarn, like this 100% husky hair.
Unlike Elijah's experiment, they figure that by donning dog wigs, they can determine if it's the type of hair that makes a difference or the type of mammal.
Do you think that when you get these caps wet, you're gonna smell like a wet dog?
I hope so. I like the smell of wet dog.
Really?
The first husky hybrid to test out the wig will be Cannon, who's not brimming over with confidence.
I don't think we'll probably be able to shake as much water off, just because it's more instinct for a dog to do that. And they've been practicing, and this is the first time I've dunked my head in water and shook it off with simulated dog hair. I'm going in 3, 2, 1.
Oh, okay, you got that. No, get back in there. No, actually, no, don't. You're gonna.
I got it.
Can I shake?
No, you have to weigh it first.
I just realized we could have just dunked the cap in.
That would have been a great idea, but unfortunately, my head's already wet. Dunk.
How much is it?
1 pound and 3.5 ounces.
Good.
Now let's see how much of that load he can shake off.
Go ahead, shake it off.
3, 2, 1.
Oh!
Whoa.
How was that?
That was disorienting, but it worked.
Both Rachel and Elijah follow suit, challenging not just each other, but every dog in existence.
So how did we all do?
I did terrible. I did 34% of my water weight off. And then you got 65% of your water off.
Wow.
What? That's gotta be like.
And you, Elijah,
No.
64.85%.
You beat me. And I have less experience with your hair because you have the doggy style hair and I have me.
It's been fun, but it's high time they got back to testing the species in question. After proving the destructive potential of butane propellant air fresheners, it's time to take this volatile myth on the road. For Valerie, Allie, and Jesse, it's the ultimate field trip.
In 3,
2, 1!
The Alameda County Bomb Range was the site of choice for some of Adam and Jamie's more exuberant myths.
Fire in the hole! Fire in the hole! Fire in the hole!
If you're into blowing stuff to bits, this is where the magic happens.
Bye-bye.
And it wasn't all just fun and games. In Series 8, the guys set out to see if an attempt on Hitler's life would have succeeded if the bomb went off in a bunker instead of a regular room.
Boom!
They decided it wasn't the room that mattered, but how close the bomb was to the Fuhrer.
He might have taken a lot of damage from splinters in his lower half, his head completely untouched.
So the Valkyrie myth was busted.
The bomb rage was really cool because it was basically walking through a Mythbusters museum. It's a dream come true.
But rest assured, there'll be plenty of responsible adult supervision.
All right, going full size at the bomb range. Tell me what you guys learned in your scale experiments.
Bottom line, this stuff smells really good and it's flammable.
Ideal.
Also, when it comes to the cigarette test versus the spark test is a lot more predictable and it still has a great explosion.
Fabulous. Well, for big scale stuff like this, reliability equals safety. So you guys are happy going with the spark for all the tests?
Yes.
To generate the spark, they're sticking with the ever-reliable neon transformer.
The spark in here will be played by this neon transformer. And while that might not seem realistic, let me explain what this myth is not about. It's not about whether a car can generate a spark. Every time you open the door, systems activate, lights go on, fuses go live, and motors start spinning, and every one of those is a potential spark source. No, this myth is about what happens when this air freshener ignites. And to investigate that ignition, this is our spark.
All right, let's get Buster in the car.
For full-scale testing, Buster gets his full-scale body back.
Oh my God! I'm sorry, Buster.
You have his legs backwards.
I know.
And right now, he's wishing he left it in storage.
Poor Buster. Man, I don't do that.
I'm trying to get him in the car.
It's not quite the recommended driving posture, but hey, so long as he's comfortable.
Close the door. There. Perfect.
We did it.
It is almost time to fill this car with some delightful yet flammable air freshener. But first, I'm gonna get dressed for the occasion. You can't smell this gear, but I tell you, it smells like fire and fire retardant material, and it just, it's such a good memory smell for me. Here we go.
Light my fire.
Those memories include seeing if sunscreen could be flammable.
Can't get sunburnt. No, no sunburn for you.
Some spray-on brands were, so that myth was plausible.
Hey, we caught him on fire.
They tested the movie myth of a lit gasoline trail catching up to and exploding a car,
Be careful, you guys. Not too close.
which was totally busted.
For a real-world control, that test went about as good as I could have hoped.
And the suit came in for a serious scorching when Jamie and Adam pitted a CO2 fire extinguisher against a flamethrower.
All of this should keep me perfectly safe.
I lived! Holy that was awesome!
Okay, Mythbusters,
Before I fill this car with air freshener,
can we do a systems check on the sparker, please?
Testing neon transformer in 3, 2, 1.
That's a successful test. Go ahead and make it safe and let me know when it is.
Copy. Mr. Savage, it is now safe.
While Adam discharges the can's contents, his core temperature inside that suit rapidly rises. Fortunately, he can be replaced by some heavy-duty tape to hold down the nozzle.
Safety is safety. If this takes 14 minutes to unload and I'm standing here without moving, I could get heat stroke, and it's no good if I'm passed out next to a car that's about to explode. All right, I think it's done. I have to de-ass the area and get back to base. All right.
Hello.
Your car is totally full
Is it really?
of air freshener, yeah.
For Adam, this is all in a day's work. The bomb range first-timers, though, are yet to acquire those nerves of steel.
Are you all right? Okay.
Call it in. Okay.
You all right? Okay.
Exciting.
Okay.
Right now, it's anybody's guess what will explode first, the car or Valerie.
Sparking in 3, 2, 1.
Testing the myth that a wet dog can shed 70% of the water with one good shake.
There it is.
The team is down to their last two test platforms. They're both medium-sized, one with short hair, the other with long. First into the water,
Come here. Hey, Coda. Coda.
and then onto the scales is Coda Bear.
Wait.
61.8.
61.8.
61.8.
And now the fur flies, with Cannon right in the firing line. The result, though, looks promising.
59.1.
59.1.
Last of all is Riley, who's just itching to shake off those excess pounds.
91.6 pounds.
91.6.
Once again, it's poetry in motion, especially on the high speed.
Riley does not look great when shaking.
His lips, though. That's the most attractive thing I've seen all day.
But did our mid-sized dogs do enough to rescue the myth? Riley's result was well above 70, but Coda's fell way short.
Wet dogs. I have the list of all of the average water weights that each of our test subjects was able to shed. Riley was number 1 at 87.5%. Tippy followed closely at 83.5%. Dazzle, 73 and change. Coda Bear, 49%. Danny, 42%. Willie, 41.6%. And the average of all of those averages is?
About 63%.
Surprisingly, the results bear no obvious relation to size or length of hair. What's less surprising is that today's best in show is Riley, the lab retriever. The only one of the bunch with water dog DNA.
All right, what do you guys think? Is that busted, plausible, or confirmed? The myth says 70%.
I think 63% is close enough. I think we can call this plausible.
I agree it's plausible. I mean, we had numbers above it and below it, so.
I agree. Plausible.
I totally agree. I think it's plausible as well. Excellent work, guys. If you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go walk my dogs.
Bye.
Okay, then.
After overcoming some pre-ignition nerves,
Flip the switch.
You all right?
the team is all set to test the full-scale myth of exploding air freshener.
Full can leaked into car.
Sparking in 3, 2, 1.
Nothing. It's possible there was no spark, but that's easy to check.
I see the spark, nothing.
Wait,
Okay,
I
go
think
ahead.
really?
Pull your
That
hand
was
back.
anticlimactic.
Did this happen to you guys in the small scale?
Yes, it did. If we remember, this actually happened in our small scale, and we let it settle for a little bit longer.
All right.
And then once we let it settle, it did work.
All right, so maybe we wait another minute or two?
Just like in the small-scale cigarette test, the problem is most likely the ratio of spray to oxygen. So again, they decide to give the air freshener time to disperse.
All right, it's been about 90 seconds since the first blast attempt.
Okay.
Call it in.
All right, full can of air freshener leaked into car.
Brilliant.
All right, sparking in 3, 2, 1.
Nothing. Nada.
Darn it.
But they've come too far to give up now.
You guys want to try again?
Yes.
So 30 seconds later,
Full can of air freshener in car.
Third time.
Zapping in 3, 2, 1.
It's zapping.
It's zapping.
Why? In 3, 2, 1.
after 3 futile attempts to confirm the myth of explosive air freshener,
I see the spark, nothing.
it's proving to be an unusually quiet day on the bomb range.
You're getting a very, very regular Mythbusters kind of day here.
Really?
Yeah. This is how it always goes. Never quite what you expect.
Ain't that the truth? Because on their next attempt,
Sparking in 3, 2, 1.
Nothing.
I've lost hope.
Whoa, it's on fire.
What?
It's on fire.
Really?
Yeah, really. And what started out as a flicker of flame is fast becoming a Buster bonfire.
Well, that's not what we were going for.
Yeah, car's on fire.
After multiple attempts at confirming the myth of exploding car air freshener, they've at least got some kind of result. As Adam vents the car and tackles the flames, the Mythbusters go to the action replay.
We hit the button. It didn't quite explode like we were hoping, but I mean, it was really cool. There was this big old bubble of flames and it just surrounded the car and went all over the place.
Adam's managed to save Buster's skin. Even so, there's been plenty of damage done.
Ooh. What?
The whole seat melted.
It's like a s'more gone wrong.
Although they got fire, it seems that their ratio of reactants, or stoichiometric mix, still wasn't quite right.
I think we had too much fuel and not enough air. It was a full can in here. That is a ton of propellant.
We filled this car full of air freshener, and the mixture proved too rich for about 40 minutes. So, we're gonna clean the windows. We're gonna put some plywood in the back window that I had to break in order to safely approach the car. Then we'll cut a hole in that plywood for me to put in the air freshener, and we've agreed we're gonna put in 4 minutes of spray from the can, not the full 12 to 14 minutes. And I think that should give us the right air-fuel mixture for the boom we're looking for.
Science is science, so if it doesn't work out the first time, you need to try it again. I guess that's how the world works. So, life lessons from Jesse Lawless.
Never has burning something down smelled so good.
With daylight and their options fast running out, the Mythbusters have one last chance at destroying a car with what they hope is the perfect fuel dose: half a can of air freshener.
Rig is hot. Want to arm it? All right. Make sure we get a spark, Jesse.
Sparking in 3, 2, 1.
Well, look at that. Nothing happened.
Oh, come on, Valerie.
I'm so done
This is killing me.
It's awful.
They need to remember this isn't a failure, it's a result. But after the success of their small-scale experiments,
Oh my God!
Oh my goodness.
Jesus! Ah!
it's not the result they expected. Valerie's especially vexed that the car's still in one piece.
I'm not leaving here until we see something explode.
And that's a wish easily granted, thanks to Bomb Range Supervisor J.D. Nelson and a strategically placed water impulse charge of C4.
Fire in the hole! Fire in the hole! Fire in the hole!
Been a long time since I'd done that.
All right, you ready?
Valerie, you are holding on to, I know, it's real.
This is C4 explosion in 3, 2, 1.
Did it work?
I saw the shock tube work.
idea.
The car did not explode.
Oh! No! I didn't get to see it!
On a day when not much went according to plan, they were all looking somewhere else when the car went up. The minor detail that slipped through the cracks was that the detonator was on an 8-second delay.
There's always the high speed. That is the mantra of Mythbusters. There is always the high speed. Say it with me.
There's always the high speed.
And this is the high speed.
Oh my God! Holy cow!
The blast was so powerful that Buster's stodgy sedan became an instant convertible. But he's in no condition to appreciate it.
Buster! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
A moment
So how do they want to call it? Allie's been chosen to speak for the team.
The myth is you can cause an explosion with air freshener, and from what we've seen from the small-scale tests, that was pretty cool, and we got a cool explosion. When we took it to large-scale testing, however, we didn't get the boom we wanted, but we still got the car to set on fire. So I would say this myth is plausible.
These guys did a great job on this story. Let me frame their results this way. If I'm a chemical engineer designing an air freshener using flammable propellant, I'm going to try and engineer a mixture with a very narrow window where that mixture is flammable. That's just safe design. And the Mythbusters were able to find that explosive window in scale. And while the explosive aspect of it eluded them in large scale, they were able to get a fire, and I have no problem calling this story plausible. Feels like exactly the right initiation to this job.
This episode's high speeds are some of the best ever, with the Air Fresh car burn easily joining the Bomb Range High Speed Hall of Fame.